Hey there, English 10. This is the introduction to Quest 6. The video is going up a little late, yes, but as most of you know, I've been ill, things have been crazy, snow days, whatever. But here it is. This is the introduction for Quest 6. This is the novel unit. There are 14 different novels that are available for you to read. There's the book Things Fall Apart, which is the one that the Springboard book is expecting you to read. It is there. It is available for you and your reading group. But there are 13 other books available as well. And they're everything from science fiction and fantasy to graphic novels. There's a play. There's a young adult romance kind of stuff happening. You have... I'm not going to say your choices are limitless because there are only 14 choices, but you have lots of different choices, and you and your reading group should take that seriously. Now, the one thing that all of these books have in common is that there is a collision of cultures. There's a character, it might be the main character, but they have their own cultural identity, and then along comes some other cultural force, and boom, the cultures collide. And in fact, in some of these books, there are 5 or 6 or 7 different characters who find themselves in some kind of cultural collision. And I bring this up because your final level for this quest, level 6, is to write an analysis of how one character in your book responds to and deals with the collision of cultures that happens to him or her. I want to jump to that level 6 rubric and talk about a couple of places where you are going to want to pay attention and do some things very carefully. First, there are 2 different literature standards. There's a comprehension standard and an analysis standard. Mostly just meaning that the stuff in your binder and your double entry journal are all completed. This is all explained for you as you go through this quest. And the analysis of literature is really about identifying one character's reaction to that cultural collision and how that reaction of that character really connects to an overall theme of the novel. So as you're reading your book, you need to not only be thinking about which character you want to write about, but be thinking about how that character felt before the collision, how that character is changed by the collision, and what that change in both reality or maybe even self-perception, what does that change tell us in terms of the author's message for us as readers? There are 3 writing standards as well. The analysis standard here is just making sure that you're using good evidence from the text. As you are reading, you'll be completing double entry journals where you're writing down some quotes and writing down what you think of those quotes or why you selected those quotes. Those are the things that you're probably going to go back to quote in your essay in level 6. There's also making sure you have a multi-paragraph structure, a logical structure with some transitions between your ideas, between your paragraphs, and that your writing includes compound, complex sentences and some templates from They Say, I Say chapter 15. Before you write this essay at the end of the quest, you are going to sit down with They Say, I Say. You're going to read through chapter 15, or at least the first half of chapter 15, which is all about writing about literature. And they've got some great sentence templates you can use and some pointers on how exactly you should be approaching an analysis of literature. And finally, you are going to have to make sure that you're including some of your ideas and maybe even lifting whole paragraphs or sentences from your previous writing. You're going to do enough work in the lead up to this final piece of writing about this character that writing it should be easy because you've already covered a lot of those ideas and put some of that down on paper. Now, how you get from here at the introduction to the essay about a cultural collision and a character in level 6. First thing you're going to do in level 1 is you're going to learn about the single largest collision of cultures over the last 500 years, and that's European colonialism. The book Things Fall Apart, which is what Springboard wants you to read, is set in what is now Nigeria about 150 years ago, just as the British were coming in with their colonialism in that part of Africa. The book Americana by Chimamanda Adichie, who you may remember from back in Quest 2, she did a TED Talk, is set in Nigeria in the present day. So you can see the after effects of colonialism in Nigeria, both as it began and now after it has ended. But there's also books by Mexican American or Latin American writers. There's obviously some colonialism issues there. There's the graphic novel Persepolis by Marjane Satrapi in Iran. There's a long history of European countries messing in the Middle East as well. Salman Rushdie, one of his books is there. He is from India. So yeah, even if you're not reading things fall apart, colonialism is still going to echo and reverberate throughout the books that you might choose. Now, levels 2, 3, and 4 are reading the books, so you're going to read about 1/3 of the book for each one of those. And along the way, yes, you'll be taking notes, you'll be doing some activities, you have to fill out a character connections web so that you are connecting your protagonist and antagonist and, the characters in between them and that are also connected to them. But there is a little bit of writing for each one of those. At level 2, you are writing a character sketch, which is great because back in Quest 5, you wrote a character sketch. You should be good at that. You've already done one. In level 3, you are writing a letter to one character in the voice of another character. And at level 4, you're considering the fairness of what happened to the main character in your book. You're going to write a letter to the editor or a Facebook post about it. Level 5 is a chance to review the book, and you're going to write 3 reviews in 3 different sizes, a very small tweet, a couple of short paragraphs for Goodreads.com, and then a longer review as if you were writing for the New York Review of Books. That's all explained in there. And then finally, level 6, as we talked about, is the embedded assessment, that essay about a character and how that character responds to the cultural collision. So that's what you have coming up. Good luck.